Welcome everybody to the Magic Beans podcast. We are back again for episode number 21. I'm your host tonight, and my name is Shorty, and I'm joined by just a couple of beans tonight. There's a few people unable to make it, but we still have a good crew for you. So on the line we have Chewy. How you going, Chew?
I'm good. We have a crew. I don't know how good we are, but we have a crew.
There are people that will be talking on the podcast. We cannot verify how accurate their statements will be.
We'll be using our words. Yes, that's right. Yep.
Yes. We can't guarantee their English, though.
Yes. And the other voice you just heard is Cracker. How you going, Cracker?
Good, mate. Good.
That's the way. And I thought we might have to start off this episode with a happy birthday to you, Cracker. It was your birthday at the start of this week.
It was.
I hope you had a good one.
I had a great day.
Yeah. Did you get up to anything?
No, mate. No, nothing.
Nothing?
No. Oh, wait, hang on. No, that's right. You and Chewy and Chris Paulson and Stu all rocked around to my place, and we played Magic for like the whole day.
How good was it? How good was
the best? Seriously, it was probably like 10 hours of Magic or something like that.
It was a lot of Magic.
Basically a GP. Yeah. So what do we do? We ate spicy chicken wings. Yep. Pauper Cube.
Yeah.
My deck was sweet.
My deck was not.
my deck was sweet as well.
Yeah, it was good. Actually, our games, Cracker, were probably three of the best games we played all day. I think it was, as far as type Magic, it was really good. Shorty was basically a buy, but it's
wow. Yep.
No, and then what did we do after Pauper Cube? We went into, is that when we played Standard?
Yeah, we played some Standard. Played a couple of hours of Standard, and then we finished it off with some Commander.
Yeah, Chris and I played some Pioneer in there as well. He'd just put together the Lotus Field Breach deck and was giving that a test, and that was every time he untapped with Lotus Field in play, I'm just like, am I dead? And he's like, I don't know, man. I built it last night. I haven't played this before.
I've got to make 500 game actions, and then maybe you'll be dead.
Well, I think we need to make a public service announcement, because every time Chris builds a Pioneer deck, something gets banned. So if you've got Lotus Breach built, my recommendation is to sell out now, because it's probably going to get banned at the next announcement.
No, should be fine.
Yep. So that was a good day. So that was a good start to the week for us. And again, happy birthday to you, Cracker. And I'd also like to take this time to say happy birthday to my wife, whose birthday it was yesterday. Which
happy birthday, Kat.
May or may not be the reason why we're recording a day late, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, happy birthday, Kat, and thank you to Joel's wife, Amelia, for putting up with us for like 10 hours at her house. But yeah, those chicken wings and spring rolls, hard to beat. So you're a rock star. Yes. Thanks, Amelia.
Good day. We'll lock it in again for next year.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a busy, action-packed episode again for you guys tonight, as we usually do. We've had, in the last couple of weeks, a few things going on. And as we seem to mention this every single podcast, there's new products that have been either announced or being released. So
ta-da.
I can't keep up. Honestly, I just cannot keep up.
Neither can I. And I mean, the good thing is that not every one of these products is for us. They're things that it's like, oh no, I have to spend more money on this stuff because I can't live without it. A lot of it is
hi, Chris.
Things. Thankfully, they're releasing products that are for the wider Magic community and sort of targeted at different audiences, I think. So there's a lot of new products, but it's pretty wide, and you're not being forced into buying every single thing just to sort of keep up with what's going on. So the first product, which basically came out of the blue, is a product called Jumpstart. Have either of you guys had a bit of a look at that?
That's an Is It mechanic where you can exile the card from your graveyard.
It is an Is It mechanic, yes.
Yeah, I really like that. I thought that was a really good version of Flashback, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I, actually.
Just as an aside. I did look at the products. You see, I thought I'd get in there. Oh, no, when Chewy started it. Never mind.
Sorry.
Yes, I have had a look at the product, Shorty.
Cool. Would you like to tell us what the product is, Cracker?
Yeah, it's magic cards, believe it or not.
Of course.
They're selling them in little packets and they're pieces of cardboard. And basically, they're themed boosters with 20 cards in them, so more than your regular 15-card booster. And they will have a theme. So a theme like goblins or cats or vampires or something. And
Pirates, these are unicorns.
Yeah, there's a whole stack of them. So there's 500 reprints and... I forget exactly how many new cards, but there's a whole lot of new cards that are being printed into this as well. And the idea is you take 2 of these 20-card boosters, shuffle them together, and you have a deck and you battle against someone who's done the same thing.
Do they include lands in the booster, or you have to add lands like Pack Wars?
I don't know, and that's actually something that I've been
I was wondering that too. I couldn't see anything in the announcement because I'm like, I don't know what colours to add, because if you do it completely blind, one of the ways they suggest to do it is just like open packs, don't look, shuffle and go. I'm like, but how do you play?
That's one thing that I sort of wanted to mention on this is they've said in their statement, it's literally, just shuffle 2 packs together and away you go. But they've also said it's a new way to play Magic. So I'm wondering if it's obviously it's aimed
Omniscience Draft.
It's sort of aimed more at casual people. And I'm wondering if it's like Hearthstone style. I don't know if either of you guys have played Hearthstone, but when Hearthstone, you get 1 extra mana per turn, basically. So turn 1, you have 1 mana, and it's just like a counter of 1, and then turn 2 you get another 1, and then turn 3 you've got 3, 4 you get 4, and so on. I think it goes up to maybe 9 or something like that. And I'm wondering if it's just going to be like, this is a super casual format, so your mana is just going to increase, but you're not going to have to worry about color requirements and things like that, just to make it a super quick casual.
What a great way to introduce kids to the game. That's really really cool. Yeah.
Like it's and the themes that they've got are going to be really cool, and because your cards that you get or your theme that you get is random, you don't know, it doesn't say on the outside of the booster this is a goblin theme or this is a cat theme or whatever. You don't know until you've cracked the packs and shuffled them together. So, and if you don't look at what you got, then you've got no idea. So
the opening really cool line on the website is goblins and walls, cats and Phyrexians, pirates and unicorns, all together at last, thanks to Jumpstart. Like,
there's also one that they've said Garruk and Doctor. So they've gone really deep. I mean, like, there's a lot of Garruk named creatures, like there's Garruk's Familiar and Garruk's Beast, and like all these kind of, it makes sense, it's just big green stompy things. But Doctor, I mean, who knows? So would be interesting to see.
Will these be legacy legal?
Yes. Yeah. So they are legal in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander.
Like all supplementary products, right?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. So I'm tipping there'll be some cool... Obviously, like, there's 500 reprints. That's a lot of reprints, so that's going to be... I'm tipping they're going to hit some of those expensive cards that are really highly played in Commander, and then there's going to be new cards. So anytime you get new cards, there's always something cool that goes into Commander. So.
Hang on, are they reprinting Underground Sea?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, hell no.
It'd sell the product,
Underground Ocean.
Yeah, Snow Underground Sea.
You can have Underground River again, Chewy. You can take a pain every time you tap.
Shorty'd have a whiteboarded one for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely have a whiteboarded one of those.
For anyone who doesn't know, Shorty's favourite colour combination is it? Speaking of Jumpstart, sorry, Chewy tangent time, and playing the blue-red colour combination generally leads to playing some number of Shivan Reefs, and all of Shorty's are whiteboarded and they're offensive to the eye.
They are fantastic, and it tilts Chris so hard. And he couldn't find one.
To be honest, most of my pain lands are whiteboarded. For some reason, I just have all whiteboarded ones.
It got so bad at Cracker's birthday when we were playing Commander. It was completely the incorrect play, but I wastelanded the Shivan Reef just because I wanted it off the table.
He made him put it 3 cards into the graveyard as well, so he couldn't see it at all.
Just hide it from me. The benefit of a 100-card deck is the angle I was on, I couldn't see that card, and it was gone from my view. It was good. Goodbye, Shivan Reef.
So there's 37 new cards I just found in the announcement, but there's a couple of other things. So apparently there are rarities inside the types as well. So like Garruk might be like a mythic drop rate, as opposed to like cats or goblins, which will be, pretty common. So there'll be a lot that you'll get all the time, And then there'll be these ones that are mythics, and then in every 3 packs, there's an extra rare as well. So it will be interesting to see in those mythic drops what they put in them and kind of how good they are. Because, there's people speculating, are we going to get like the next True Name Nemesis or, that kind of super powerful effect that sees play in Legacy and those kinds of things which come across from Commander. So will be interesting to see. I don't know. Yeah,
let's lock it in. When the next PT is on, let's get a box of this and go to someone's house, watch the PT, and just draft this all day.
Sure,
it sounds so fun.
I mean, it's kind of like mini masters, right? Which is something that we quite often do when one of us gets a box. We'll just sit down and crack packs, add 2 of each basic, and just play them.
Counter your Goblin Chain Whirler.
Yes.
So good.
Anytime I mention mini masters. But it feels like that kind of thing. So I'll be interested to see. I'm interested to give it a go if we get the chance.
Yeah, I'm sure at least one of us will buy a box of it.
One Magic Bean will, yes.
I won't say who will be the person most likely to buy it, but guarantee you somebody will buy one.
Well, somebody might buy a case that we buy a box from at a discount rate, yeah.
So it's getting released on July the 3rd, so it's still a few months away, and I'm assuming that we'll get previews for the cards and things like that as well, but they're actually doing a pre-release event for it. So that's June 20th to 21st, so we might have to lock that in and go and do the pre-release, because I'm tipping it's going to be pretty fun.
Ikoria.
Yeah.
So
interesting. They're dropping things super close to each other. Ikoria being the next major expansion that is being released.
Yeah, but what I picture is taking our eldest and going and playing with them at this pre-release event. And then, then we can have...
Two-headed giant.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's lock it in. That'd be sweet. That'd be a really fun event.
All right. So another new product that got announced is the Challenger decks. So this is something they did last year, I believe, and I think they used to do them a little while ago and they stopped for a while. But last year they released some that were actually really quite good, and I know I actually picked up the set of the 4 decks. But basically, they're a set of 4 decks. So there's the 4 pre-constructed decks that are based on current Tier 1 or Tier 2 to Tier 1 standard decks. With the idea being that you can literally buy these decks, there's 60 cards, you crack it open, you sleeve it up, and you can take it to your local store or play Friday Night Magic and actually be competitive. And the ones they did last year were actually really good. And I know, Chewy, you were saying before the cast, you basically bought the red deck. And took it to a PTQ.
So I got because they came with sideboards as well, right? And I think I changed maybe 10 of the 75 cards. And I changed the mountains to full art mountains. That was probably the biggest change that I made.
That definitely increases your playability.
Yeah, my win rate went up.
Yes.
So I got one of these decks and I changed literally 10 cards out of 75, rocked up at a PTQ and went 5-3. So a winning record, had a great day. The deck felt really good playing one of these decks pretty much straight out of the box. So if they're anything like that, then these are an amazing product. They pay for themselves in the lands that you get. The mono red deck not so much, but the dual deck, the dual coloured ones you get. You got in the previous version a dual land and a couple of chase rares, and they were really competitive. Properly built decks. This product is perfect for someone who wants to take that leap from your casual kitchen player or someone who plays kitchen table player or someone who plays arena to actually rocking up Scott to your local game store and playing in an event. They're perfect. They're a really, really good product. And they've had, theme decks and
dual decks, Planeswalker decks.
Yeah, and things like that. And they're aimed at the kitchen table player. But this is for somebody who wants to dip their toe into the competitive scene at FNM. Yeah, which is the perfect place to start. Get to your local game store, support your LGS, and play some games. And they're affordable. They're great value for money. They're competitive straight out of the box. They're awesome.
This iteration's got some really good stuff. So the mono red deck is Scott Cavalcade of Calamities and things like that, but it's also got Embercleave. And if you look at like any of the tier deck lists that you can find on like MTG Goldfish or like Arena deck lists or anything like that, they are like within probably a couple of mythics and couple of rares of like just number one, top mono red list.
Like the red deck has 4 Fervent Champion, 4 Steamkin, 4 Bonecrusher Giant, 4 Torbrand, 3 Chandra, 1 Embercleave, like 3 red castles. Like that's so much of the current red deck.
Yeah.
You basically buy two or 3 more Embercleaves, and that's about it.
Yeah, maybe some annexes would be the only other thing you'd want to grab, and
away you go.
Basically
You've got
done.
a tier 1 deck.
But when you look at it, you're like
really, really good one.
Yeah, and you look at the archetypes, right? You've got Jeskai Fires, Green-Black Adventures, Mono-Red Cavalcade, and Blue-Green Flash. All quality decks in the metagame. And what is really great is, like, these decks, what are they retailing for? Like 40 to 50
between
Australian?
40 and 50. So there's no, because Wizards took away the recommended retail price, there's no set price, but I've seen them pre-ordering for Australian, I think it was like $180 for the set.
Yep.
For the set of 4.
If you go to MTG Goldfish, right, which is US prices, US dollar prices, Allied Fires, the Jeskai Fires one, $71, $89 for Final Adventure, $103 for Cavalcade Charge, and $100 for Flash of Ferocity.
That is if you bought all the cards individually.
Yeah. Yes. So that's a really good indication of the value for money that you're getting. It's like
that's actually their current price. So like that article was written nearly 2 weeks ago now, and as soon as the deck lists get announced, all of those cards start coming down in price because people know they're going to be in the market a bit more. So when they were first announced, the value was massive. Just so good.
Well, the Simic Flash deck has got either 1 or 2 Brazen Borrowers in it, and they're like a $25 card. It was like last time with the Chandra.
Yeah, one Brazen Borrower,
right?
Which is what are they worth at the moment? Brazen Borrower is $24 US.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean that in itself pays for most of the value of buying one in Australia. So if you're in the market for this kind of thing, sweet products. The reason they do them now is that you've got like 6 months before some of these cards will rotate out. So they're not going to be like I can play this for the next 2 years, but it also gives you a really good fundamental base to build from. And they're all, well, not all of them, but most of them are like core archetypes that will stick around. There will always be a version of Mono Red. For the last couple of years, there's been versions of like Simic Flash and stuff like that. So expect to have some longevity. Plus, you can just keep them to battle against each other because they'll be quite well balanced.
Yeah, they're great. I was about to make that point, Joel. You smashed it. What's amazing about them is you just keep them together, and if you want to, just play kitchen table Magic with your mates or teach somebody new to play, you get to show them, and they get to go, Frilled Mystic's a great card. Like this Night Pack Ambush is broken. What do you mean Fires of Invention lets me cheat on mana? And next minute, the person that you're playing with is completely hooked and they're into Magic, and away you go. And hook, line, and sinker. That's right. Exactly like Shorty did to me 16, 17 years ago.
Subscribe to the Magic Beans podcast, and then they're hooked.
Follow us on Twitch. Yep.
And then they go, well, if these are the idiots that talk about this game, never mind.
What's this bloke always going on tangents? Yeah.
So these will release on the 3rd of April. If you're interested in buying them, like I said, a lot of stores are doing pre-sales for them. You can find pre-sales on eBay for them as well. Definitely worthwhile. If you're interested in playing Standard over the next 6 months, especially, I would pick up at least one of these. If not, grab all of them because, like Craig said, they're great just to have and keep together and play against each other. But if you've been thinking about getting into playing in paper, I know we've had a few people contact us and say, where do I start? I'm looking at getting into playing into paper, or they're people who've been playing solely on Arena and they want to go and play in paper. This is the perfect place. You can find one of these decks that's pretty close to what you've probably been playing on Arena, or that's a style that you really like or really interests you. Buy that, give it a run for a while, and then you just slowly add. You might pay $40 to $50 for the deck, and then you might spend maybe another $20, maybe 30 just doing a few small upgrades. And so for under $100, you end up with a top quality deck that you can take to absolutely any tournament. But they're perfectly fine to play as is. So very good. And yeah, it's like you can sort of see with those two products, Wizards are starting to do that really good thing of getting people, all right, here's a really cool new product in Jumpstart that's really good for casual new players to get them hooked in. And then they can go from that and go, oh, I really like this game. Okay, well, I'd like to do more. All right, well, here's Challenger decks where you can buy this deck for super cheap and then go and play in a tournament. So
then next up, Worlds.
Yeah, and that leads us on to our next topic. So while we're talking about Standard, Worlds was the World Championships.
Smash that segue.
Couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but now you drew attention to it. So now you've ruined it.
So we mentioned it on the last cast, and Cracker gave us a bit of a rundown. So do you want to take us through what happened?
Yeah, I won.
You won? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So we've got Chris, who won Nationals a couple of years ago, and then Joel Hill Domodorosa.
Yeah, Worlds, no. What I mean is I won by picking the guy who was going to actually win.
Right.
No, sorry. Should have been clearer.
You won a trophy pet
I got a trophy
Arena.
pet and some sleeves. Yep.
Right.
And
nice.
When you win a game with the trophy pet, it spins around and lights up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Magic Arena summed up in one sentence.
So Worlds held in Hawaii. And Wizards threw the kitchen sink at this one.
Didn't they? Oh, yeah.
They $1 million prize pool, $300,000 first prize. Well done to PVDDR, who I'd say crushed it, but he crushed it with his Azorius Control, his blue-white control deck. I'm not going to do card-by-card things. He made some really clever choices, and the dude is, he's the GOAT in my book.
If it's possible to get 16 of the best players in the world and make it look easy, like if that's at all possible, he's gotten really close to that mark, right?
Yeah. So there's something to be said about the tournament structure making that advantageous for him. It was a double elimination, and it was really heavily weighted to the top bracket. So look, I really appreciate what Wizards were trying to do. It was a little bit confusing. Mostly I just gave up and went, hey, there's Magic. Sweet, I'm going to watch it.
Yes.
and so I just went with watching it, and I didn't try and understand too much. But the idea of the Wizards was that if people were playing, they were live. They could win the whole thing. Now, admittedly, it was much, much more difficult for someone like Gabe Nassif, who lost early on and fell to the lower bracket, to win out than Paulo. At one point, Paulo was already in the finals, and Gabe had played 10 more matches than PV had, and to catch up to PV to meet him in the finals was going to have to play a minimum of 3 more, I think it was, or something like that. So it was really interesting. The tournament was great. The coverage was amazing. They did, yet again, a fantastic job by putting everything on Arena. They did a draft.
Almost everything on Arena.
Almost everything. They did a in-person 8-man draft or 8-player draft.
Did either of you guys watch any of the draft coverage that they did? I didn't actually watch any myself, but I've heard that it was apparently really well done.
I need to go back, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to, and I've heard that it's been great.
Like we mentioned on the last cast that they pre-did the draft in paper and then ported their decks into Arena.
Correct.
Which unfortunately for the guy that I picked, Andrea Mengucci, meant that he ended up with a game loss. But
I also picked Mengucci. Yeah.
It was not Mengucci's weekend.
No.
But anyway.
So apparently what they did was when they would follow people, because they did the draft the day before the matches were played, they could switch back to their draft coverage to look at and they were able to look at, okay, well, here's the whole table and we know what everybody drafted on this whole table, so we can actually break down how people ended up with what decks they're on and all that sort of stuff, which is something that they really struggle to do in normal PT type things where they have a live draft and then just live play and that sort of thing. So I haven't watched the coverage myself, but from what I've heard, it was very good. Still not enough to get me to watch draft. It's just so boring to watch.
So tangent time. Ta-da! So if you've never done a timed draft at a high level event, like at a GP or Nationals or anything like that, it is so enjoyable as the person involved, right? Like the process, the time restrictions, the officialness of it all. I love it, right? And the few occasions I've had the opportunity to do it have been really memorable. But as far as the spectator sport's concerned, oh my goodness, like snore me a river, right? I'd rather watch the tennis or golf, right? So, if they're doing anything to improve that, because there's been like a push, like a community push to remove draft from the high-level events.
Which they're actually doing.
Temporarily.
Which is really unfortunate because, like, the limited play, like, playing limited, drafting a format and building your deck on the spot and then playing that deck that you've literally never played before is a real skill, and it rewards people that have really put in that time and effort. You can break a standard meta game, but to be able to break a standard meta game and a draft meta game is kind of the recipe to doing really well at a Pro Tour. Like the people that top 8 Pro Tours generally 6-0 draft. And that's, people go, oh, what standard deck did they play? And they delve right into it. But without them, that player 6-0ing a draft, then they wouldn't have ever made top 8, right? So it's something that's undervalued a bit, I think, and Tangent.
Yeah, we will discuss that at another point, probably heading closer to the next PT. But yeah, they do have announced that some of the PTs coming up will be like modern and standard, and so there's still split formats, but yeah, they're trialing, I guess, a few without draft. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But back onto this topic, onto this
I did say N-tangent / N-tangent. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how much of the coverage you guys watched over the weekend. I either watched or listened to basically all of the first couple of days. Unfortunately for us in Australia, for events held in America that are the finals and whatever are played on the Sunday, that's during the day on the Monday for us. So while we're at work, and that works for some of us if we're sitting in an office and you can, have a stream going up. But for me, most of the time I'm out on the road, out on site doing stuff. So unfortunately, I tend to miss a lot of the finals. But I did end up, so on the Saturday and Sunday for us, I either watched or listened to pretty much all the coverage except for the draft portions. And then, I've watched some of the replays on the finals, but I don't know how much you guys watched.
What I found was my work has throttled the bandwidth on Twitch, so I could watch it whilst I was at my desk.
Don't you know someone who works in IT that might be able to?
I've stepped away from IT proper into my new role, and every time there's like an access audit, I lose access to something. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but yeah. So I could watch it, but it was in like 360p. So it was hard to see.
That's about all I get to watch it when I'm at home with my quality internet.
Welcome to Australia's internet.
It's just a blur. I'm just listening to the commentators mostly.
Which is basically what I was doing. I just had my headphones on while I was, inverted commas, writing a procedure document. And so I got a bunch of it, which was really good. But the majority of it was watching the replays on YouTube in the following days for myself.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Like they did a few things with this event that they haven't done on the previous, like even the Mythic Invitationals and things like that. And like the event itself was run really well. Like they had the outdoor broadcaster desk, like you would have.
Poor people.
Yeah, except it was crazy windy in Hawaii apparently. But like that was cool. Like it was like, oh, you're in Hawaii. Like you're literally sitting outside in some sweet gardens or whatever. They had the integration on Arena, so like in the couple of weeks leading up to the event, as soon as you logged into Arena, the first splash screen thing that you see was various people that were playing in the World Championships, and click here to read more and all that sort of stuff. So
those hype trailers
promotion through that
were really good.
The hype trailers were awesome, which we mentioned the last time.
Yeah.
They had the event running the whole weekend, which I know I played a little bit of. I don't know if you guys did, where you could play any of the 16 competitors' decks for the whole weekend for free.
Yeah, I played a little bit.
which is awesome.
That was epic, by the way. Like, that really, like changing the avatar to the person's face and playing the deck. You know, like, here's a tier 1 standard deck, you know, built by one of the best teams, piloted by one of the best players in the world, and like a way to, like, building star power, right? But also just the opportunity to just play those decks alongside the stream. Like, you know, you have stream up on one, like, oh, PV's playing blue-white. Oh, I'll play some blue-white. And
I'll play as PV.
Yeah, and clearly, what it was an illustration of why he's at Worlds and I'm not.
I was going to say, why can't I play like PV?
Yeah, exactly. But I think that was a brilliant idea and something I really hope that the folks over at Arena do. So some things they got really right in having the event running parallel with the decks. One thing they did get wrong was stopping the Theros Beyond Death drafts on, you know, mid coverage. That was frustrating. It's like, oh, here's this sweet format that everybody loves, and I will take it off you. But whatever. They'll get that right the next time, I'm sure. But really loved that event. The Arena integration was like next level. It was something that really showed that Arena is part of part of the Magic landscape now. Like, it's more than just a flashy gimmick. It is now how we play Magic, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, they crushed it. So was interesting that, you know, there are a few things that they will definitely change. But I like the fact that they are trying things. You know, it's not just the same worlds that we've seen year in, year out with, you know, just a bunch of different draft and things like that, and just a single elimination tournament. So it was cool that they were mixing it up. We should probably talk about some of the other players. We've mentioned Paulo Vitor Damarosa, who won with his Azorius control, but he beat in a pretty great finals set against Marcio Carvalho. Carvalho, sorry.
You got to miss wrong syllable there, man.
Yeah, wrong emphasis. Yeah. He was playing Jeskai Fires. And then Seth Manfield was in third with Mono Red Aggro. Gabe Nassif was in fourth with Jeskai Fires. And then
surprised to see Gabe Nassif not playing Control.
Yeah, everyone was surprised to see Gabe Nassif
Fires not playing Control. Man.
It's pretty hilarious that he played Robber of the Rich, which lets you draw cards when you have less cards in hand than your opponent, and Gabe has never had less cards in hand than his opponent. So, for those who don't know, he's in the Magic Hall of Fame. He is a renowned blue-white control player. The slower, the dirtier, the more he likes it. So, was sweet to see him. Some of these guys who have been around for a long time doing really, really well in these top-level events. So, pretty sweet. And then rounding out the rest of the top 8 was Eli Loveman on Mono Red Aggro, Sebastian Pozzo on Mono Red Aggro, Autumn Burchett on Team of Reclamation, and Jean-Emmanuel Depras on Team of Reclamation as well.
He may have the best name to say out of anybody in the tournament. Like, Paulo Vitor Damarosa is pretty good, but Depras, it's pretty great. Anyway, Intangent. Hashtag Intangent.
Yeah. So yeah, very, very good event. If you haven't watched, if you didn't get to watch any of it, definitely go back on Magic's Twitch channel. You'll find the coverage from that, or probably on the YouTube as well. But yeah, even if you just watch the finals between Marcio and PV, very, very good. Very, very good games. Very close. Without, you can't really say. Not going to give out any spoilers, seeing as we just told you who won, but very good games, very close games, went for a long time, and very high level play that's well beyond my capabilities as a Magic player.
Can we spend the next hour discussing Marcio's keep in the last game?
No, we cannot. What we can talk about very quickly is the fact that the top 8 was best of 3 matches. So they really stretched it out. I really liked that because it meant that, like, the idea with best of 3 normally is you get, 2 sideboarded games and hopefully you kind of get the play and draw mixed up, and not mixed up as in incorrect, but like changing backwards and forwards between the players. And it gives you the chance to not just lose to variance. And Wizards really stepped it up by saying, look, for the amount of money we're playing for and for the fact that this is the World Championship, we're going to make it best of 3 matches. So some of these people were playing like 9 games against each other. In fact, a lot of them went to like game 3 of match 3. So if you have the time to sink, or you're looking for something to do, highly recommend all of the top 8. Everything I saw in there was just super, super good play. And like the commentary was really good. Arena is very pretty to look at, regardless of whether you love it or not. It's pretty, right? It's flashy and it looks good. And yeah, it was really good. But definitely, if you don't have time for all of the top 8, because it's like 8 hours of Magic or something like that, definitely check out the finals.
Speaking of really good-looking arena events...
I thought you were going to say really good looking. I was like, oh, thanks, mate.
He's talking about me again. Yeah.
I don't think anyone on this podcast fits into that category.
There's a reason we do like podcasts, not...
Yeah, we're doing audio.
Yeah, audio only, yeah.
Says the man who puts his face on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, I am the best looking of the beans, so, someone has to do it.
Yeah. So. Let's go with that.
There's nothing like watching a balding middle-aged man who's bad at Magic. Yeah, it's good.
So DreamHack was event.
So DreamHack. So I'd never heard of DreamHack before.
I have through Counter-Strike. They've been around for a little while. They've done a bit of esports, but they're kind of like a mid-tier size esports tournament organizer.
So it's like a convention or something like that, because obviously there's other sports going on at the same time, or other esports going on at the same time. This event was run, as far as I can tell.
Massive in Europe. For those in Australia, if you think about Rod Laver Arena or Festival Hall in Sydney, like those big concert events, DreamHack will run like a League of Legends or a Dota or a Counter-Strike tournament that will pack those out, like 30,000 people. It's a big deal, and they've dipped their toe in the Magic world.
So this event was this weekend, just gone, so almost a week ago now. And it's basically bring your own laptop and come and play in an event. So there's other events running, like Chewy said, for Dota and League of Legends, all that sort of stuff, which I have no idea about. But they ran, in conjunction with Wizards, they ran a arena tournament, and this was the first open arena tournament that's been run effectively, like a big live one, with $100,000 prize pool, which is pretty big.
They must have had hundreds. It must have been like bigger than a GP, right? How many people showed up?
You would think so, but unfortunately no. So apparently there was a bit of confusion with like the ticketing and things like that, and one style of ticket sold out, and so people thought, the event's sold out and I can't go. And that wasn't the case at all. There was just obviously a bunch of miscommunication, and I guess it's the first time they've run an arena event and whatever. And so they only ended up with 94 players, I think it was, in the end, which is not very many people for a $100,000 prize pool.
That's pretty good EV, man.
Can't complain about that. But they ran the event over the weekend. They had commentators. They had Martin User and Riley Knight and Maria commentating, and they did a really good job. It was pretty cool. I didn't get to watch much of the coverage, but I have since been back through and watched a fair bit of the top 16 that they ran.
Yeah, I watched a bunch over the weekend, and it was great. It felt like GP coverage. Like after watching Worlds and the sort of the polish that we had on that broadcast, which was the best we've ever seen, it was a bit of a step back. But when you look at it in that context, but when you look at it in the context of Magic broadcasting historically, it was quite
good. It's not hard to be better.
No, that's right. So I mean, they used the same arena viewer setup that they have, where you could see sort of 1.5 screens and whatever technology they were using there was used, and Riley and Maria were really familiar, and Martin gave he's in the NPL, like he's awesome. He's one of those players that offers those insights that you just don't see. You're like, oh yeah, this is the right play, and he'll go, no, I think this is the right play and this is why. And he was able to, again, as an illustration of why he's in the NPL and I'm not. But having that as a commentator is great. Like, you get your personalities, like your Marias and your Riley Knights, and it's they're entertaining. But then someone who's able to be entertaining, like Martin is, but as good as Martin is. It was really enjoyable. I learned a lot just by watching it. So if you've not watched any of the coverage, great gameplay, decent coverage, and you'll learn a lot from listening to Martin.
So the story of the weekend was a guy by the name of Aaron Gertler, who won the event playing Temur Clover or Temur Adventures. And this is a deck that's been around for ages. Like, you look at the card list and it's 99% of it is stuff from Throne of Eldraine.
Absolutely.
There's like a couple of random sideboard cards that it's picked up from the new sets, but it's a deck that's been around for ages. And I think when it sort of came to prominence, or when it was sort of coming out previously, like 3-6 months ago, that sort of thing, there were other decks that were over the top. We had Oko that would turn your Clover into an Elk, and it just wasn't the right time for it.
I'm actually holding a Lucky Clover in my hand at the moment, so I might read it out just for those who might not know what it is. It's an uncommon from Throne of Eldraine, and it is 2 mana for an artifact, and it says, whenever you cast an adventure, instant, or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So if you cast Beanstalk Giant, you get 2 lands. If you cast, whatever the adventure side, Stomp on the Bone Crusher Giant, you do 2 damage to 2 different targets. So if you like value,
this deck is all value,
just bulk value, and it plays the Fave Wishes with the I think
with the Wish sideboard,
13 unique cards in the sideboard or something.
Yeah, so almost all of your cards. So you have the Edgewall Innkeeper that triggers when you cast the creature that has an adventure, you get to draw a card. So you're drawing card, getting card advantage there. When you cast the adventure side of it, and you've got the Clover, you're doubling it up or tripling or quadrupling, depending on how many Clovers you've got, the spell. So the adventure cards, you already get it effectively a 2-for-1. You've got 2 spells from the one card, and then you're adding extra card draw, you're adding extra doubling up and tripling up and that sort of stuff from your Clovers and your Edgewall Innkeeper. It's just all value. And I've been playing this deck a little bit on Arena this week, as has almost everybody else on Arena, and for one, it's extremely complicated, but it just goes and goes and goes and goes forever, and then often you win by just flinging a 11/11 Beanstalk Giant at your opponent. But it has a lot of answers to what's going on at the moment, and it's a pretty powerful deck. And I think it just happened to be that this is the right sort of metagame for that deck to be powerful. So
from watching the coverage, I think the deck has a really good matchup against blue-white control, because you can get your Clover down underneath their counter magic.
Yep.
And it is it's a cast trigger. So even if they counter your Beanstalk Giant,
you still get the copy.
You still get the copy. So it effectively prevents them from countering your spells. So and you kind of get your cake and eat it too with Edgewall Innkeeper and Lucky Clover. So you get value on the way in and on the way out. So it's incredibly good, and there's so many good cards like Brazen Borrower and the Bone Crusher Giant and the Beanstalk Giant. Like, it's such a good, they're just good cards. And then I guess decks like this historically aren't good unless the cards themselves in a vacuum without Lucky Clover are good, and they're all just good Magic cards. Like Beanstalk Giant won a PT Brazen Borrower, one of the best cards out of Throne of Eldraine. Bone Crusher Giant was in 2 of the top 4 decks at Worlds. Like, these are good Magic cards, and then you're just leveling them up further by adding Lucky Clover. Like, great deck. But it feels to me, someone who's played a whole 2 matches with the deck, it feels like a deck that really rewards you for knowing the deck and the matchup and, knowing the right plays to make at the time. So, if you're interested, I suggest jumping in and playing the deck. You may go backwards before you go forwards, but when you go forwards, you'll probably go forward a long way. So I really like the deck.
So the dude who won the tournament is Mythic number 1 on Arena.
Basically has been for quite a while.
And has been for quite a while, solely on this deck. So the dude has been playing it basically non-stop for like 2 or 3 months now, and is regularly floating around in the top 3. Mythic number 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. The dude he beat in the tournament was Mythic number 2 in Arena at the time. So, like, the dudes are good.
Not what you call scrubs.
No, not at all.
Not hanging around in gold like the rest of us.
Hey now.
Who's in gold?
Anyway, so
didn't want to answer.
You just segues again. Yeah, I don't know. The deck rewards reps. I think it is not fundamentally powerful, I would say. I think that it has a lot of answers and rewards a high level of play skill and understanding the matchups. I don't know. If you think you're just going to like pick it up and do well, I've got some news for you.
Yeah,
it's
the
unlikely to happen.
The guy that won, I've watched some of his stream. He streamed, I think it might have been split over 2 days or something like that, but he went something like 38-2 with that deck. And that's also playing in Mythic. Like, he's playing against MPL players and like super high level players, and he went 38-2 with the deck, which is phenomenal.
Wow. He's also got in that he posted some screenshots of his stats and stuff, and he's played over like 45 hours of just that deck.
Yeah.
in like some ridiculously small window of time. So the dude is dedicated to it, and he won $100,000.
Yeah, no, he didn't win $100,000. So it was $30,000 for first prize.
Oh, it was $100,000. Oh, well, whatever.
And he actually like good on him. He donated half of his winnings, so $15,000 to a charity. And I heard today what the charity was, but I've completely forgotten now. But that's pretty cool. Like,
good on him.
Sweet. I've won this tournament. I've won $30,000 straight up. I'm donating half of that to a charity. So well done to him. And he's certainly got a few more Twitter followers and Twitch followers and all that sort of stuff from the weekend. So good on him. But while we're talking about cool online arena tournaments, smashing the segues again, our league. Do not forget our league. So our league, I'll mention it now and we'll mention it again at the end of the podcast. We are running a free-to-enter league on Arena through our Discord. So
what can I win?
You can win some sweet boosters, not $30,000.
You can't win anything, Chewy.
Yeah, actually, you can't win anything. You can
just not allowed to.
You're
not allowed to make up the numbers, but you're not allowed to win, even if you win.
So yeah, we're kicking off on the 2nd of March. I'm just waiting for people to finish jumping into our Discord and putting their hand up to say that they want to join us.
We'll put a link to the Discord in the show notes.
That'll be in the show notes. It will always be in our show notes from now on, and is on our Twitter profile and Facebook as well. So jump in our Discord. It's a great place to have a chat to us. We're starting to build a good community there. You can ask us any questions you want and just, jump in and have a good time, have a chat. But yeah, if you want to join the league, free to enter. There will be boosters as prizes, and it's going to be run through our Discord. There will not be $100,000 prize pool. You will not win $30,000, but you will have fun, and you will likely get to beat all of us on Arena.
And I just put a note in the Discord channel for it tonight that I will stream. If not stream, I'll at least record every match that I play, so you'll be able to go back and watch yourself crushing me every time you want. If you're having a bad day, be like, I might just look up YouTube and remember that time I beat Chewy, and I'll feel good. So that'll be a bit of fun. So hopefully we get some good numbers. There'll be some boosted prizes, and it should be just some fun, right? Like let's just have some fun playing Magic.
Exactly. All right, so the other thing we've got coming up, we've mentioned on a few other casts, is the Good Games Premier Series event. So there's the two PTQs that are being held in Melbourne on the weekend of March 7th and 8th, alongside, a few side events and things like that. So this is something we've been looking forward to as a few of us on the podcast are intending on going, but this is a chance to, another chance to qualify for the Players Tour. So the Saturday is Standard and the Sunday Modern. It is $60 entry, but you can get it for $55. That's per event. You can get it $55 if you pre-register, and all the details for all that are on their Facebook event. So go and find that. But I think both myself and Chewy, we're both planning on playing on the Saturday. I don't know if any of the other guys are actually going to make it, and none of us will be there on the Sunday. So we thought we'd have a bit of a chat about Standard. A lot of what we've already spoken about tonight is things related to the Standard format, but what are we looking at playing? How's the meta looking at the moment? All that sort of stuff. So Chewy, I know you've been playing a lot of Standard at the moment with what you've been playing on Arena. I think you're pretty much locked into your deck, but how are you finding the meta at the moment, and what are you thinking of playing?
So I've kind of started playing a lot more Arena. I've been making time for it, and I keep coming back to Jeskai Fires. And
you've been playing that deck for ages.
A really long time. Like I started out playing like Planeswalkers, and then the Czech Cavalry, which is like the Martin User,
Andrei
Strelsky, sorry, name that escaped me for a second. Playing the Cavalier, the red and the blue Cavalier. And shout out to Child Rebel Walker from our Discord, who hooked me up with a list. And I, in really short succession, like I started in, I think, Gold 3, and like a week later, I was in Platinum 2 with a list. And for anybody who's playing Jeskai Fires, I've got one word of advice, and that one word is really simple: Oketra. I'll leave it at that. If you don't have a Ketra in your deck, you probably built your deck wrong. It's the truth. So I'll be playing Jeskai Fires. I'm tuning my list at the moment. I'm playing a lot of games, and I've kind of hit my ceiling in mid platinums. But the deck is so good. It's so powerful. It can be built to have sideboards against most strategies. So I'm 100% locked into playing Fires. I've got a bunch of cards off Shorty at Cracker's birthday, combined with a bunch of my cards in these lovely pink Dragon Shields. Chris, just need a few more. Hook us up. And the deck is... you'd say it's probably one of the pillars of the format, right? In Fires of Invention. Yeah. And, two of the top 4 decks at Worlds is a good indication that the deck's probably fairly well positioned. It's kind of fallen in and out of favour, but I've been playing it fairly consistently, and it's just powerful, right? I think it suits my gameplay, where it's like, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do what I can to execute my game plan, and hope that that's more powerful than the thing that you're doing. And often it is. And then having a plan. So, Cracker, you were with me on the stream earlier this week, and we identified that at your birthday that the Simic deck was a bad matchup because it just went over the top. So we have a sideboard plan of getting underneath it. So,
also, you're welcome for Oketra. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And I did give you a shout out for that on the stream. Check us out on Twitch at Magic Beanscast. Shameless plug. And I tried one. I got the 2 blue Cavalier that I was playing, and I've replaced them with one Oketra, or God Eternal Oketra, and one Elspeth Conquers Death, and it's awesome. I'm pretty sure I'm going to move the Elspeth Conquers Death to the sideboard and just play 2 Oketra in the main, because it's really that good. So one of the games that I played on the stream, you can go back and check it out, and give us a follow as well while you're there. It was turn 5. I had a Fires in play on turn 4, and I went Oketra and then Kenrith. So casting the Kenrith gave me the 4/4, and I then was able to give the team haste and bash. And it wasn't a Kenrith, it was a Cavalier. It was an empty board, and my opponent was on 22 life, but I swung for 24, and I went, yep, Oketra's real. I'm a keeper. So I'm going to play that. So I could talk about Jesco Fires all day. It's a kind of a known quantity. It's a deck I'm really excited about. Before the cast, Shorty and I were talking about some sideboard choices, and you'll be happy to know, Shorty, that in the sleeves at the moment, in these pink Dragon Shield sleeves, are 2 copies of Ashiok in my sideboard. So that's how it's sitting at the moment, because, when I'm losing, it's generally to an escaped Uro. So that seems like a good card against that. And
that tends to happen when people are escaping Uro.
yeah, they win.
It's quite a powerful card.
Yeah, it's a good magic card. But you seem pretty passionate about Team Clover, Shorty. When you were talking about just before, am I picking up a Team of Clover vibe from you?
I've definitely, like I said, I've definitely been playing some Team of Clover. Like, as soon as I saw the deck, it was like, oh, I really like the look of this deck. This looks like a lot of fun. So I jumped on Arena and spent some wild cards on the cards that I didn't have, and gave it a crack. And like we sort of said before, it can grind a really long time. You've just got so much card advantage just with doubling up on all your spells, but you really need to know what you're doing, and you need to have a plan.
So you're not playing it then?
Shorty.
Yes.
Don't do it.
No.
Play John Cat.
Yeah.
So
play your cats and your ovens.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because you played Tron in the Modern PTQ and ended up in a draw bracket because you got paired against Blue-White Control.
Oh, wow. Way to bring that one up.
No, we had a draw because, your opponent was slow, right? Like, not like, that's the excuse I'd be giving. But, I guess if you're not 100% confident that you know Team of Clover well enough, my recommendation would be not to take it to this event, right? Yeah, okay. We all agree on that?
Yeah. Like like I said, I've played a fair bit of it, and the basics of it, I can play easy. And I think I've played enough of it to get like that, first level of, okay, these are some of the lines you can take. This is how you can win those games where you look like you're losing. And, when you play Mono Red, you want to cast your Fae of Wishes, just hard cast them on turn 2 just as blockers and things like that. So you learn those sorts of things pretty quickly, but it's finding those really complicated lines where it's like, okay, I'm really up against the wall. I need to plan my next 2 turns out so that I can win before they kill me. And that's doable. I know I definitely have the ability to be able to do that, but I'm not. Like, between now and then, I'm just not going to have enough time to get in enough reps. Whereas, a deck like John and Cat, which I think is actually quite well positioned at the moment, and it's actually got a favourable Team of Clover matchup, I've put in so many reps into that deck. So
I think you'll be able to punish a bunch of people who are going, oh, this is the new hotness.
Yeah.
I should play this and pick it up.
I thought.
And you just know, I mean, we at my birthday, we played a bunch of that, and oh man, that deck. I do not enjoy playing against that deck. It's sense of inevitability, and you play it really well. You've just played it a lot, so it it's you understand all the lines and sequencing and stuff. So I think that is probably an excellent choice. And then it's just a matter of, like, going, all right, well, what does my main deck need to look like?
Yeah.
Am I on Massacre Girls or am I on Korvolds, or do I need some on the sideboard? What are we expecting, people to bring, and deciding your sideboard setup?
That's the sort of thing with that deck. Like you've got your core of your deck, you've got your cats and your cats, ovens, Trail of Crumbs, Mayhem Devils, Gilded Goose. Like that's sort of your core of your deck. And then you basically always play like 25 lands. And then you've got a bunch of flex slots where, you can play Midnight Reapers, you can play Korvolds.
Paradise Druids.
Yeah, some people playing Paradise Druids. Yeah, you can play various Planeswalkers.
What's the discard spell called again?
Massacre Girl, Agonizing Remorse. Yeah, how many main deck Brontodons do you play? All that sort of thing.
Zero says the Discard
player. 4. So yeah, I watched a bit of Martin User's streams. We were sort of talking about him before, but Cracker posted in our Discord last night that User was streaming Jund Cat, so I watched some of that.
He's really good.
The dude can play Magic.
It was interesting watching because he obviously hasn't played a ton of Jund Cat because I was picking up on things, and he would do stuff and then go, I probably shouldn't have done that, and that's the stuff that comes with experience, but it was good just listening to him talk through what he thought the metagame was and what cards were good and what cards weren't good and that sort of stuff. So, yeah, like cards like Massacre Girl, they're really good against mono red, or can be good against mono red, because it can wipe the board when you've got an Anax or when they've got an Anax, and it's going to kill the tokens that it creates as well, just with the way the triggers all stack.
Oh, does that work? Does it?
Yeah,
because it's just, if Anax dies, then it gets another trigger, so it'll just kill all the tokens.
Every creature that dies creates a trigger. So as a creature dies, a trigger happens, and then the Anax trigger happens, so it creates a dude, and then the Massacre Girl trigger resolves, and then those guys die, and so it just continues down the chain. So you basically completely wipe the board, and they get left with nothing, and you're left with a Massacre Girl that they can't really deal with anymore.
Yeah, because they only go up to Torbrand, which is 4 toughness. So if you kill an Anax into Torbrand, then like the trigger from the other dude will kill it. So.
Yeah, so it's good in that matchup. It's good against like Simic Ramp, because it's pretty easy to get it so that you're wiping out all their lands and any little dudes that they've got. But it's not really good against anything else. There's nothing else in the format where it's good against. So it used to be that you would play 1 to 2 of them in the main deck, sometimes even 3. And now I think it's just a sideboard card. So then that opens up a couple of slots where you can play something else, maybe like Midnight Reaper, so you're getting a bit more card advantage.
What about Casualties of War?
So don't play that card either.
Is the other one
don't play it. Leave those at home, people.
Sure, you block your ears. Casualties of War is a beating against a bunch of decks.
It's so good against me.
Yeah,
blowing up lands,
Casualties of War is good because it also hits Team of Clover at the moment. It's good against, or can be good against, blue-white control, because you get to hit a Planeswalker and an enchantment and a land and probably a creature as well. So,
and a blue-white control player, because of the nature of Jund Cat, where you actually don't cast a lot of spells, you have a lot of triggers, but you're not casting that many spells.
Yeah.
They should be boarding out their
board out
absorbs.
a lot of their counters.
Yeah. So, you can hit their... you can hit a land, you can hit their Elspeth Conquers Death, you can hit their, the enchantment flyer guy, whatever he's called, the 4-mana guy.
Yeah,
Archon. Yep. Yeah, so I think it's probably a quite well-positioned deck.
Yeah, I think it will be. So I think that's what I'll go with. I was considering mono red for a little bit, just because it's always Old Faithful mono red, just get in there and smash people. But
believe the cleave. That's still just it's
sounds like a Chewy joke, by the way.
Kind of, yeah.
But there might just be Clover proactive. All over. Yeah.
I'm sorry, everybody. Look, if you have joined our Discord, please don't leave.
There needs to be a deck that plays Lotus Field and the Lucky Clover, so we can have like the Cloverfield Paradox, like the Netflix series. Yeah. Oh, we'll edit that video.
What were you saying, Cracker?
Yeah. So one of the things that's good about mono red is It's really proactive. No, it's just it's still a really strong choice. Yeah. The combination of cards like Annex, Torbrand, and Embercleave are all incredibly strong, particularly if you can put them all together at once. Don't know if it's like top of the meta at the moment, but it's certainly tier 1-5, you would say, tier 1. So if that's what you want to do, I would expect you'll see a lot of that, boys. I expect you'll run into a bunch of mono red because there's the misconception that it's easy to play, and I mean it's cheap relatively compared to a lot of the other decks. You don't have to have expensive mana bases. You don't need shocklands or Fabled Passages and things like that.
Most of the cards are older now as well. Like it's only Annex from the newest set.
Everything you just said is a big part of me making the decision to play Jeskai Fires.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll be interested to see how you do. I hope you both do really well. I think you've both got plenty of experience, so you can't be going, I just grabbed a deck, I didn't know how to play. So
that's my usual excuse.
I know.
What am I going to do?
So when Chewy arrived at my birthday, right, first thing he did, he's like, sorry, man, I'm a bit crook, so if I don't play very well. It's just like, oh my goodness.
Just crushes the draft.
He hasn't even put his cards down, and he's already making excuses.
I was feeling pretty crook.
Yeah. So the other decks, big decks at the moment in standard, so like sort of going through the top metagame breakdown. So mono red, as we've mentioned, Azorius Control, which after PV1 Worlds that picked right up in popularity, but it's a very hard deck again to play. Like just playing Control in general is quite hard. Jeskai Fires, which Chewy's planning on playing, like mono red and Jeskai Fires they're two decks that when they have their good draw, you just can't beat them. And you're kind of hoping when you're not playing those decks and you're playing against them that all you need is just often that one turn where they stumble, and then you might have a chance if you've got a bit of a grindy deck. Jund Food, which I'm looking at playing, and then you sort of get into the other decks that you don't see as much of, but you generally at these sorts of events we're going to see a bit of. So there's the red-black, the Rakdos Aristocrats, which is very similar to the Jund Cat, just obviously missing the green. They do a lot more things, like they steal your guys with their claim the firstborn and then sacrifice them to the Witch's Oven. Team of Reclamation, I don't know what you guys think about Team of Reclamation, but I don't think it's a very good deck at the moment. It's not very well positioned.
When it wins so big, it looks completely insane. Like it explosions for 40, but it seems just it's not reactive enough like Blue-White Control, and it's not assertive enough like anything else. So it seems like just a bad kind of middle range at the moment.
As someone who's playing a deck with 4 Teferi in their deck, happy
to play against Cast Wilderness Reclamation on 4.
It's a interesting choice. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris.
So the other deck that we've seen a little bit of on the ladder, Chewy mentioned before, is the Sultai mid-range deck. So it's an interesting deck, actually. And I've seen it in people's streams, but I haven't actually played against it myself. But it's mostly like it's a mid-range. Like it's called Sultai mid-range. It's Planeswalkers, Hydrocrasis, Euro, that sort of stuff. Like it's just getting slow incremental value.
It's another Nissa deck, right? But they're playing Thought Erasures and things like that, and Murderous Riders to pick up a few points in other spots. So powerful engine, can go over the top of stuff, but don't know how well it sits right now.
Yeah.
I keep losing to it, so
hopefully we don't see too much of that deck.
Yeah. And I honestly, as I said, I've got Ashiok Dream Render sleeved up.
Yeah.
Ready to...
It is one thing sort of against that deck is the actual price of the deck for people playing in paper. Like looking at this on Goldfish, US $631 for this deck. Like it's $162 for your Euros, like $90 in breeding pools, $75 in Fabled Passages. Like it's an expensive deck, so that can often deter people from just sort of picking it up and playing it. They don't all have access to a card shop to borrow stuff from.
Hi, Chris.
So yeah, that's why you do tend to often see people just running their like mono reds and the cheaper decks that they can just pick up and go with. So I think that's standard. The other event, or the Sunday tournament that will be getting played is Modern, which we haven't really played a great deal of, and we haven't seen much Modern. Like, we haven't had any major Modern events, playing a bit. Really. What have you been playing on
top 8 of the last 2
online?
No, top 8 of the last 2 Modern events I went to.
That's a month ago. That's ages ago.
Come on, man.
That's like 10 years in Magic terms.
That's right. The metagame changes every day.
There's been 7,000 new cards released since you played Modern.
Come on, man.
So what I'm seeing, I personally have not paid basically any attention to Modern, and I haven't played it myself in ages. But as has been mentioned previously on this cast, I do listen to a lot of podcasts. So from what I'm hearing, the big deck at the moment is Primeval Titan decks. So whether it's Amulet Titan or like Valakut style or whatever, but they're all playing that, what's it called? The Dryad of Elysian Grove?
That's the 2/4 guy.
Yeah, the guy that makes
your lands into mountains is what it does.
Yeah, so Primeval Titan is a extremely powerful card, and you can put it in just about anything and it's going to be super powerful. So there seems to be a few different variants of that getting around that are extremely powerful. Another deck I've seen floating around or heard of is Dimir Inverter. So the scourge of the Pioneer format at the moment, Dimir Inverter, has managed to make its way into Modern, which I think a few people kind of went, it's not going to be any good in Modern because it's, you don't have dig through time. That's banned in Modern. But what's been happening is people have basically been putting it in the Ad Nauseam shell of style of decks, taking out their Ad Nauseams and playing Spoils of the Vault to draw their whole deck with a Phyrexian Unlife or Angel's Grace, and playing cards like Shelldock Isle, where you can tuck your Thassa's Oracle under a Shelldock Isle and then Spoils of the Vault to get rid of your whole deck and then just cast your Thassa's Oracle from under your Shelldock Isle. So apparently it's pretty consistent and pretty powerful because you're still playing it in a I think it's an Esper shell, so you still got all the blue-black control sort of stuff. So,
it sounds really exciting, but I will say that the player on Magic Online who has been the trophy leader for the leagues, the Modern leagues, for the last 2 seasons has been playing Eldrazi Tron.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay. And a number in the top 10. So
yeah, and, that's the thing with Modern. Modern is, it's just such a huge format that there's always a million decks, and you can.
It's not a 4-deck metagame like Standard,
and it's like but even like we were saying just before with Standard, like the money factor is huge in Modern. Like if you're most of the podcasts that people listen to and the ones I listen to, they're US players that are either MPL style level of players, or they're regularly playing on the SCG tour and things like that. So they're playing every single week.
Just like us, yeah?
Yeah, just like us. Yeah, playing every single week. Yeah. Really good players, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're people that are hugely invested, so they are chopping and changing their decks every week, and they're playing for the metagame that is always changing. The level that we play at and the local tournaments that we play at, there are those people that do that, but the bulk of people aren't. And for a format like Modern, people stick to their deck because that's what they own and that's what they have access to. So often you'll find if you have that best deck, you will make your way through the unwashed masses and then get into the top meta game, and that's when you really want to have that top deck. But you're still going to play some random stuff. So,
or at least have a plan against the top deck, right? So
yeah. If you know like a primetime deck is the top deck, you need to have a plan for playing against a primetime deck because you're going to see it at the event. And if you're planning on winning, you're definitely going to see it at the winners' table. So
absolutely. So Cracker will back me up on this. You need to have a choke in the sideboard of Tooth and Nail, right?
That really was just like the most beautiful thing. I was like, bring in choke. And the dude cast the Dryad of Elysium and into choke. We'd already cast it.
Yeah.
And so he cast this, 2/4 that then all his lands didn't untap, and it was pretty easy from there.
It was a beautiful thing.
It was great.
Yeah, check it out on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen it before. So yeah, it's pretty good.
So the other sort of main decks that are getting around from Modern, the Urza Thopter. So obviously we had Mox Opal banned out of that deck. But the deck is still, it's sort of gone back to the Thopter Sword combo now, so that's still pretty prevalent. Devoted Druid combo, that deck's seeing a lot of play. Like, you look at all these decks that I'm talking about here, they're all combo decks. That's just Modern for you.
The Devoted Druid decks have adopted Heliod for some of them as well.
Yeah.
They're just going Walking Ballista Heliod combo because you can hit Heliod with Coco.
Yeah.
And that's what I lost to in the quarters of the WMPQ qualifier. It was wasn't pretty, I'll be honest. And I didn't have really an effective sideboard plan against that particular deck. So it's a really powerful strategy and something that's, unexpected. Put 2 copies in the top 8, including the eventual winner at the local. So the deck's got some juice.
And the other deck, which I just heard about today, actually, which is yet another combo deck, using Underworld Breach. Again, I'm tipping that card's going to get banned eventually in Modern as well. Grinding Station. The old classic from Fifth Dawn is rearing its head again, in combination with Underworld Breach. So Grinding Station is an artifact, a 2-mana artifact where you can sacrifice another artifact and mill 3 cards. And then when an artifact comes into play, you can untap it again. So if you have Grinding Station in play and an Underworld Breach, and then have a 0-mana artifact like a Mishra's Bauble or a Mox Amber or something like that, you can literally just churn through your entire deck. You just mill your deck over and over and over and over and over again. I don't even know how the decks are winning, but I'm assuming Thassa's Oracle or something like that, and win the game. So yet another combo deck. Apparently it can win on turn 3, which is just Modern is getting crazy broken again. So we'll see how that one goes. But I don't think that's yet to put up any tournament results. So just something to keep an eye on. But yeah, if you were to be playing Modern, what would you guys be recommending? I know Chewy, I'd assume you'd be recommending Eldrazi Tron.
I would be, but by sounding out that deck that you just mentioned, I'd probably want something with some white sideboard cards to some Stony Silence and some
Stony
Rest
Silence.
in Pieces.
Seems like a good card.
But yeah, I've Modern, especially in sort of an unknown local field. Chalice on 1 is a really powerful strategy. So, and that's worked for me in the past. So that's what I would sleeve up if we're playing a Modern tournament tomorrow.
Yep, Cracker, what do you reckon?
Oh, Living End for sure.
It's always Living End.
It's always Living End. No, Prime Times.
Yeah,
they just seem
some sort of Prime Time strategy.
Some sort of the idea of Prime Time into Valakut.
Yep,
is just asking a lot of questions. You attack from a lot of different angles, particularly when you can just slide Field to the Dead in there as well, and you just kind of grind against everything.
Yep.
So I think those are look, not my favourite kind of strategy, not something I particularly want to play myself, but in terms of just raw power and making people respond to you, pretty hard to go past.
Yep. I think Chris would be in agreement with you. He certainly loves casting Prime Times as well.
He sure does.
Untapping his dual lands and anything to do with lands.
Hang on,
did you know that Geralt Turf is better than Ancient Tomb?
Yeah, it's like a better Ancient Tomb, right? Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
What about you, Shorty? What would you play?
I would probably play Devoted Druid. I've played that deck in the past and enjoyed playing it. I like playing that deck, and if it's good in the metagame at the moment, I think I'd just sleeve that up. The Grinding Station Breach combo sounds like a lot of fun, but I'm assuming that's also another deck where you really need to put the reps in to learn it. So I'd likely run out the Devoted Druid. But I think you either want to be playing Prime Time, getting all the value that you get from Prime Time, or playing a busted combo.
Or Chalice on 1.
I wonder if Infect is good.
Sorry?
Because Chalice on 1 beats it.
Yeah, but no one's playing Chalice on 1 except for you. So I wonder if Infect is actually good, because if people are non-interactive, then that's
except the guy who's the trophy leader on Magic Online, but you know.
Sure.
Yeah, but fine. He doesn't play in Melbourne.
So 2 people are playing E-Tron, but what I mean is there's no one's on Jund, no one's on Jeskai.
Yeah.
Well, not no one, but I mean, as far as like the meta decks that people are talking about, I mean, if you've got a completely foiled out Jund deck, then of course you're going to play that
because that's all you own.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't own a house or a car, but you own the Jund deck. Yeah.
But this is when decks like Boggles and linear aggressive creature decks can have a really good time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
All right, so that's our recommendation. So, yeah, that's on the weekend of March 7th to 8th. So, yeah, Chewy and I will be in attendance on the Saturday the 7th. So, if you see us getting around in our Magic Beans t-shirts, come and say good day to us. There's a few people we've been interacting with through Discord and on Twitter and stuff like that. That'd be good to actually meet in person. We're always up for a chat. And, yeah, we'll be letting you know how we go with that. And hopefully, well, I was going to say both of us qualify for the PT, but that's impossible. So, hopefully I qualify.
If we make the finals, man, I'll concede you. What's the best way to practice for the thing on the 7th and 8th? I would say probably some arena leagues.
Yes, some arena leagues. Oh, these segues, man.
They're rolled gold tonight. Rolled gold.
Yes, the best way to practice for the Saturday at Melbourne Good Games Premier Series would be to join our Discord and join our arena league. Well done, Chewy.
Hard disagree, because I don't think you're going to play against any meta decks, and the players are all scrubs.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'd definitely be hitting up arena for
shout out to Ryan Cubitt who's signed up. But yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, jump on our Discord, join our league, starting on March the 2nd, so make sure you sign up for that. And, yeah, that's pretty much going to do us for tonight. Even if you don't want to join our arena league, then you should still jump in our Discord. It's a great way to get in contact with us and a great way just to have a chat about all things Magic. So, yeah, find the links on our Twitter or on our show notes. And, yeah, that'll do us for tonight. So, yeah, if you want to get in contact with us, you can do it in the usual ways. Send us an email, magicbeanscast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter or Facebook at magicbeanscast, or Twitch channel. Yep, look us up on Twitch channel or YouTube. Same thing. It's all Magic Beans Cast everywhere you go. If you want to find me personally, I am at Peace Inc. Chewy, you are
at Chewy MTG,
and Cracker
at Joel Hill _.
Very good, and that'll do us. So thank you again for listening. Hope to see you in our Discord channel, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.